All right, today we are diving deep. We're going to explore one of the most complex and, let's be honest, fascinating territories ever charted, the human mind itself. And our guide? Well, it's the man who basically drew the very first map, Sigmund Freud.
So, let me ask you something. Have you ever stopped and wondered what really drives you? What are those hidden forces that shape your fears, your desires, even your wildest dreams? It's a question we've all wrestled with at some point, right?
Well, for one guy back in 19th century Vienna, this wasn't just a passing thought. It became his life's journey. Picture it, this bustling, super intellectual city, and a young Sigmund Freud who wasn't just asking the question. No, he was absolutely determined to find the answer. He was setting out on this incredible quest into that unseen world inside every single one of us.
Okay, so where does a story like this even begin? Well, for Freud, it starts with him as a young boy, a kid who just saw things differently. His unique perspective really set him apart, right from the get-go.
I mean, even his own mom noticed it. From a really young age, Freud had this insatiable curiosity. He just had to look past the surface of things. He wanted to understand the machinery ticking away underneath it all. So, while other kids were out playing, Freud was the one just watching, observing. He was totally fascinated by the everyday mysteries of human emotion. And he kind of got the sense that what we show the world, that's just the tip of the iceberg. He started to believe that these powerful, forgotten memories from way back in our childhood could actually be the ones pulling the strings in our adult lives. Wild, right?
And this early fascination with the unseen? Well, it was about to lead Freud to a huge turning point in his journey. He goes off to medical school, but he pretty quickly realizes that just studying the physical brain, the nuts and bolts of it, just wasn't going to be enough to answer the massive questions he was asking.
Then, a professor says something that hits him like a lightning bolt. It totally confirmed what Freud had been suspecting all along, that the real key to understanding why we do what we do, it wasn't just in the brain's tissues and chemicals. It was somewhere else, in a hidden, much deeper realm.
And this is the territory he would end up dedicating his entire life to exploring, the unconscious mind. The way he saw it, it was this vast, submerged part of who we are, almost like the bottom of an iceberg. And it's filled with everything we've pushed away, our secret desires, our deepest fears, forgotten memories, all of it just quietly influencing every single thing we do. So, okay, that raises a big question, right? How in the world do you explore a place that's hidden? Well, Freud's first huge breakthrough didn't happen in a lab. Nope, it happened in a patient's chair with a case that was about to change the course of psychology forever.
Let me introduce you to Anna O. This poor woman was suffering from this absolutely crippling anxiety. And here's the kicker. There was no physical cause anyone could find. The doctors were totally baffled. She was just trapped in this constant state of fear, and nobody could give her an answer as to why. Her own words really captured that desperation. She described feeling this immense pressure from inside, like a storm was just raging in a part of her she couldn't even see or understand. And that was the mystery Freud was determined to solve. Now, you have to remember, this was an era of prescriptions and doctors telling you what to do. So what Freud did was, well, it was completely revolutionary. He just sat back and he listened. He actually called it the talking cure, and it worked like this. First, he just created a totally safe space by listening, with absolutely no judgment. Then, he encouraged Anna to just say whatever popped into her head. This is what we now call free association. The whole idea was that if they followed this trail of uncensored thoughts, they could trace them all the way back to the source. And that's exactly what happened. They started to uncover these missing pages, these repressed memories from her childhood that turned out to be the real root of all her anxiety. But this incredible breakthrough with Anna O, that was just the beginning. Next, Freud set out to actually formalize his map of the mind. And let me tell you, this move was going to bring him a whole lot of fame and a whole lot of intense opposition. He published this landmark book, The Interpretation of Dreams, and in it, he dropped a bombshell of an idea that our dreams are not just random, meaningless nonsense. He argued they're actually a kind of coded language, a direct hotline into our unconscious minds, revealing our deepest wishes and fears. Whoa, did that cause a firestorm? It was intense. The established scientific community, they were outraged.
They called his work unscientific, a dangerous break from how things were supposed to be done. But at the same time, a really dedicated circle of allies started to form around him. They were totally convinced he was onto something huge.
But Freud, he was not backing down. This quote from him just shows his absolute conviction. He truly believed that discovering the truth about the human mind was worth fighting for, no matter how much it shook things up or how uncomfortable it made people.
So, that brings us to the end of his journey. After this long and, let's be real, often difficult voyage, what did Freud bring back for the rest of us? What is the real lasting legacy of his incredible exploration?
I think this entry from his personal diary just captures it perfectly. The elixir he returned with, it wasn't some magic cure-all potion. It was an idea, a really powerful one, that if we can understand ourselves, if we can bravely face those hidden parts of who we are, we can live more authentic, more meaningful lives. When you boil it all down, Freud's greatest contribution was that of a pioneer, a trailblazer. He gave us a brand new language to even talk about our inner worlds, and he gave us the first map to start navigating them. Look, he might not have had all the answers, not by a long shot, but he absolutely had the courage to ask the right and really tough questions. He basically opened a window that can never be closed again. And this exploration of the unconscious, it's a journey we can all take. So the only question left, really, is for you. What will you discover when you finally decide to look?